The data tables on the TickerTrends platform, while they look a little bit boring and similar, they are very, very important because whenever you're analyzing data on TickerTrends, you're going to have thousands of data points on the platform. And if you were to look at every single data point individually, that would be basically impossible. So what you need to be able to do is to synthesize that data very quickly and very easily based on parameters that match the goal that you're trying to achieve. So with these data tables, what you're able to do is you're able to rank the data based on parameters that you can set yourself. So for example, here on the trends data table, we have default parameters that we provide for you. So some things that may be helpful, such as the 6-month percentage gain on that specific data set. So what this basically means is if you're looking at the trends data table and you click the 6-month percentage gain, it looks at the percentage that it is the data has either increased or decreased over the past 6 months based on the current data point and the data point 6 months ago. Then it gets the percentage from that. So here you can see I can rank the table and then you can find different data values that have either increased a lot in the past 6 months or if for some reason you're trying to look at ones that have decreased, then you can find that as well. So you can see here this value has decreased a lot over the past 6 months. Maybe you're trying to short companies for whatever reason it may be. You can do many different things with this. You can also compare year over year data values, 3-month percentage gain, or you can go to the custom formula. Now, what the custom formula is the custom formula allows you to basically, instead of just saying, I want to get the 6-month percentage gain, you can say, well, I want to get the 6-month percentage gain averaged out by the price gain in the past 15 days. Or you can say, I want to get the 3-month percentage gain of the trends value plus the average of the 6-month percentage gain. There's a lot of customizability that you can do with this. So for example, how we do it here is we separate it into blocks. So you can think of each block as a little component in the equation that you're going to build for this formula in order to sort the data. So with my trend block, let's say I want to add 15 weeks percentage gain. So this basically means that for whatever trend value the row in the table has, it will look at the 15-week percentage gain for that specific value. So now I have the 15-week percentage gain, and you see there's another little box here that's a drop down. Now what this box means is this is a box for the moving average of that value over time. So what happens is with some of the data on the platform, the data is not necessarily smooth or easily readable. Sometimes it's very choppy. Sometimes it's not the best unless you add a moving average to it. So moving average just makes it a little bit more readable and reliable in terms of getting those values, especially when you're doing a 6-month percentage gain. So I can actually show you an example of this. If we go back to some of the top values here, we can see Oderman for NCR ticker. If I go to the home page and I search the NCR ticker and I go to the trends value, then I can look for Oderman. So here's the Oderman trend value. I can change the period to all periods. So now I can see this is what the Google Trends chart for this specific value looks like. So this is the search frequency for this specific term on Google. Now you can see here that it's extremely choppy, right? It's not very readable. I can see that it's gone up a lot in this most recent value. So it's definitely something that maybe I should be looking at because, you know, possibly this company is performing extremely well and maybe the market hasn't priced that in yet. But what you can do is you can add a moving average to this. So if I add a 15-day moving average, then you can see that that data set that looked almost impossible to read. Now I can see that, okay, well, you know, it does look like it spiked up quite a bit, but whenever I compare it to the moving average, it's much more readable. And also, if I'm looking at a certain percentage gain of this, it might be much more valuable and helpful if I am looking at the smooth version compared to just the raw version of the data. So that's why we have that moving average option whenever we are creating these formulas. So let's go ahead and add this back to our formula. And as we saw, it was very helpful to have a moving average on this. So we're just going to add a 5-week moving average to smooth out the data a little bit. Then we're going to add an operator to this. So the operator basically just means in the formula, you can't just have two values next to each other. You need to do something with those values. So you can add them, subtract them, multiply them, whatever you want to do, you can do that. So we're just going to add it to a price block. And what the price block means is it's just the percentage gain of the price for that specific stock. And in certain cases, sometimes a stock doesn't have price value, or maybe if you added a custom ticker, it's not going to have price value. So then whenever you rank the data based on this custom value, it's just going to show up as NA, because if it doesn't have all of the required data in order to rank it based on that, or in order to get the value for your custom formula, then it'll just show up as NA. So here we're going to add a 30-week percentage gain for the price data. And you can see you can select a moving average once again. So I'm going to name this trend and price. This is the name of my custom formula. Then I will click add. So now it has been added, and I will then need to actually select this. So I need to set this as my custom formula on the actual table itself. So now I can rank all of the data based on this custom formula. So this takes into account the percentage gain of the trend value, like I set in my custom formula. And it also takes into account the 30-week percentage gain, and it just adds those together. So now you can see that this is completely different than what it was whenever I was ranking it based on these other different values that I can rank the table based on. And so that's why there's so much customizability with this custom formula. And it also really depends on what you're trying to look for in this data whenever you're creating these custom formulas, because there's so much flexibility. And again, we will have a tips and tricks video on how to create custom formulas in order to achieve the goals that you're trying to achieve. So whether that's long-term speculative investments, mid-term speculative investments, short-term speculative investments, market research, consumer trends, etc., you're going to need different custom formulas for each one. Also, whether you're looking to short a company or make a long-term investment into a company, again, there's differences for each one. So here, something that I'm liking, it's always good to look for data values that have more data rather than less data. So when I see these zeros, that tells me that there's maybe not that much data with that value. So here I see there's a very high ranked value with my custom formula. So then I can see this company with the value soft switch. So I'm then going to go back to the main page. Again, I'm going to look at the different trend values, and here is soft switch. So I was only looking at the 15-week percentage gain. So that's not many values. And you can see here, if I'm looking at 15-week percentage gain, it might have been like here compared to the current value. So, you know, there has been a lot of growth, but maybe now that I see this, I know that I want to increase the amount of weeks that I'm looking at for the percentage gain. So, I mean, it's definitely on an upwards trend, but compared to some of the longer term trends, this is not necessarily something that I would say is having massive growth. However, when I do select that year-over-year option, then it does indicate to me that it is actually quite strong. So this is some of the analysis that you can do with these custom data tables with a custom formula. You can do this for social values and web values as well. And again, this is just scraping the surface of what you can do with the platform, because also once you find these data points, then you can go to the pro chart. And I'm going to show you the pro chart in the next video.